had a pig and named him Francis. And you hear the pig squeal on the show. Like at the different store, they have a pig squealing the sand. And so he was encouraged through R.T. Williams. I remember very well one day he told us, "This is your day, how are you going to use it?" And that stayed with me for a long time, and still I think about it sometimes. This is your day, how are you going to use it? He was the ag teacher, but he would come and stay with us sometimes, take my brother home and spend the night with us and things like that. And And my brother loved ag at that time. He tried to build stuff and do things. He even tried to help build us a house once when our first house was built.
Okay. All right. Well, now, I'm going to ask you a couple questions here. Let's see here. Now, obviously, you were a little bit younger, just a little bit.
Yes.
And Miss Wiley there. Let me get both of y'all in there. And so, when you went to college, so after you went to Mary Allen, tell us what your education career looked like.
Well, I went to Mary Allen for 2 years. I stayed off the campus 1 year. The school was maybe about a half a mile from where I was going. I would walk to the school. And then I worked for different people. I went to Mary Allen for 2 years. And my third year, Minnie Mae had just finished college. And she was teaching, started teaching at Kenora. And every month she would send me a payment, for my education. We had to pay so much. But anyway, a girl and I used to be afraid that they were going to call our name because we hadn't paid. We were good friends. But anyway, after Minnie Mae started teaching, when I went to Prairie View. But when I was Mary Allen, I don't know how to get my money. I told you, Tom gave me money for one semester in Mary Allen. But anyway, like I said, I went to Mary Allen for 2 years. The third and fourth year I went to college. Minnie Mae sent my money every month for payment. And that was really made me good. That's why sometimes I go on the way doing things for her, because she likes to fuss. But anyway, after going to college, I would go to school and go right back to my room. I didn't go and, like children used to go and buy things at I think we called it rec hall or wherever. I would go straight to my room. One of my roommates, she would get food and she would put it on her bed and she wouldn't eat nothing until she was there by herself. But anyway, I made it in school for 2 years and then I graduated from Prairie.
And that was in 1950?
1951.
51, okay.
That's when I finished Prairie View. And at first I didn't have a job. One place called for me to come. I think it was in Nacogdoches or somewhere. But my mother didn't want me to leave and go that far. But when I came to Houston, Delbert came with me. And he knew Cutting Fire, and I stayed there at Cutting Fire. And I worked at different places then.
And so who was Cutting Fire? Who was that?
Oh, that was my mother's sisters. Her
niece.
Her niece.
Okay.
My mother's niece.
Okay.
And I stayed with her.
Now, when you arrived, so you arrived in Houston about 1950 something?
About 1951 or 52, I came on to Houston.
Okay. And where did you first start working?
I did days work. The Kaplan was one group I worked for.
Okay.
And then one while I
tell us what days work means.
What days what?
What does that mean?
I would clean house.
Okay.
I didn't have to wash none, but I would clean house. I dusted and cleaned blinds and all that. Oh my, I was cleaning blind or something. And the lady would go around. I would see them go around when I finished and just see that I done. She'd go around and check what I've done. But Miss Captain didn't, but they would have money laying everywhere. I guess they thought I might steal. But I wouldn't even touch it. I wouldn't even, And I had to walk about 5. I lived in Acres Home then, and I had to catch a bus. And that bus would be so crowded when we came back. We have to stand up. Some of us would have to stand up. And I had Mary staying in the nursery, and I would go and pick her up and carry her. And when I come back home, the lady would say, "Ooh, what you had for Mary was real good." She would eat half of Mary's food. And so I would walk and pick her up and get home, Then the next morning I would do the same thing. I got $5 a day for working. I would go that morning and stay till about 5 o'clock. By the time I would get ready to leave, the lady would come home and had to go somewhere else. So I had to wait a few more minutes till she came back. So it was.
Now, at that time, was your brother living in town in Houston at that point?
No, he came to Houston and started staying in me first.
Okay. And we're talking about Oscar, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then he got him a job or something, and then he what happened with him?
Well, see, he had gone to the Army, and so anyway, his school paid for him before he went to Prairie after he came back.
Okay. And so y'all all also just met up in Houston.
Yes, I don't want to always see him, because when they get paid, you wouldn't see him. And Marie, that's when he and Marie started going together.
Okay.
And I guess I won't tell him. Yes,
okay. Now, ultimately, did you start teaching?
I think about 2 years, Mr. Behrman from here knew the superintendent
At
in
what
Houston
school?
here.
Okay.
And so that's when I started teaching at Carverdale. And I taught at Carverdale for 15 years. And then that's when they integrated, started.
Mm-hmm.
So I was one of the first black one from my school to go to Holbrook.
The school, it was an integrated school.
School's integrated.
Okay.
And one little boy I had, I couldn't do nothing with him. And so I called the parents. And he said, "Well, I'm sorry, Miss Berry, but he won't act like that no more. But I've always taught him against black people." And I really didn't have no trouble down there. And we had rules that were written up. And if a child would act up, I'd say, "You watch the rules." And I didn't have to, bother them too much. Because they'd look at the rule and they knew what it was.
Okay. Now, I ask, it's like, do y'all think integration helped people, black people?
Yes, it did help in a way, because they was able to go to school in these colleges without, being paid so much, and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
But now they trying to go back and undo all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to say a few more things too.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about it. When I was at Holbrook, I had an off period. I was sitting behind one of these teachers. One of those children was just acting up, the black one. And she told him, she said, "Just let him alone, because he didn't want to learn nothing no way." So I think it helped in some way, in some ways it did.
Okay. Now, I'm gonna come back to you. Yeah, I'll come back to you. Now, during the Civil Rights Movement, Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and all those type of things, y'all remember that time? What did y'all think was going on at that point? And I'll ask you first, and we'll come back to you.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, I remember at school one day, I hope this is the question you asked.
Yeah.
The children they showed different things that happened to the black,
Mm-hmm.
and they were picking cotton. And one of the black boys Junior's nephew, runs. He got so mad.
Shells. Yeah.
Oh, he got mad because he really didn't want to see them. And so the teacher asked me, because I was subbing then, the teacher asked me would I carry him out to another room. I took him outside. But now they don't show those pictures now like they used to. But I'm sure there's a reason why. Because all those black people was picking cotton and had their sacks and he was looking hard. So
Mhm.
I said,
Now, when you heard the speeches with Martin Luther King back then, and they were talking about integration, how did y'all feel about it initially when they first started talking about it?
No, no, no. I didn't want it. I did.
Mm-hmm. How did you feel?
well, I didn't listen to it too much.
Okay.
But I didn't want them to integrate because I didn't want to go to the white school.
Mm-hmm.
And I said I don't want to go. And when the principal came up there and told us that, oh, they could pretty integrate. And he said, some of y'all may have to go back to school because somebody must go down there. I did everything I could do wrong so I wouldn't have to go. So I said, if I go, I have to go down there and they do something bad, I'm going to leave. And I was the very one they sent, and I didn't want to go.
Mm.
Oh, I like to,
Did y'all hear people like Martin Luther King on the radio, or did y'all hear about him, or did the preachers talk about that kind of stuff, or how did y'all get news and information back then?
well, we had a little of it there, but you know, they'd be talking, you know, at school and things, but we heard most of it. Because at one while we didn't have a radio, but after we got a radio, we could hear. For one while we didn't have a radio, we go to my aunties and listen to the radio and things.
Okay. So y'all knew what was going on, just not
Yes.
much.
When the integration was coming,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
well, when it got about integration, we was already at the school, and they were superintendent would come up and tell us that we're gonna be integrated one day and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we said, no, we didn't want it, I did.
Mm-hmm.
And I still didn't want to go to the white school, I called it.
Yep.
And
All
I was the very one they sent. I said, oh, Lord. I get down there, and I don't like it. I said, I'm gonna walk in one door and right on out the other.
Now you said you wanted to tell us something. What you wanted to say? What was that you wanted to talk about?
Oh, I just wanted to say I had a lot of help going to school. We talked about the army and things. Because my brother that was in the army, he gave my mother a check.
Mm-hmm.
And that helped to have money to help us go to school.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to say when our school was in working, he wasn't in school then, but he worked and he was sending mama money home to us. And I had to go in for surgery for a appendix operation, and he paid my bill. And the women at the hospital were so proud of him. All they said, oh, isn't that something? That boy was that nice to send that woman all that money to pay for that girl's school. And so we have been a family to try to help one another. I tried to help my brothers too when they started the school, and like he had done by my mother's giving me us a check.
Mm-hmm.
And when they girls and started the school, we would try to share with them to help send them to school. And when my nephew got ready to go to Prairie View, I was in the hospital in Mary Allen, and I got out of the bed. The doctor let me up that day to go to Prairie View and with my friend, and we took him to Prairie View, as it was called. And we always try to stand by each other and help with the bills and things.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good stuff. Anything else y'all want to talk about? Tell me about?
We had a hard time, but we made it.
Now let's talk about this. Now y'all influenced a whole bunch of people to go to college. Y'all know that, right?
I feel like we did. Because my brother that really didn't go to college, he really thought a lot about college. And he was in all his children to college, all 5 of them
Mm-hmm.
have gone to college. And he got 2 doctors in the family.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got That's all they got. Yes, and then other people in the community was encouraged, I feel like.
Okay.
Because he was sure talk about education.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. All right, well, we'll take a break and we'll come back and think of something else. Okay?
Maybe got the food. Huh?
Y'all can eat.